If we go back to our history, we have had great leaders in our community. We have had great leaders in our community. And as I said to you, yes, we were being sold as slaves. We did lose 60% of our population, but that's an example itself. We did not obey the wrongdoers. We did not sell ourselves to the English back then. Another example is in the Amir Abdul Rahman's time when we were attacked. We have a mountain which is called Khoi Chundukhtara. When they attacked this particular village, 47 of our females actually said, no, we're not going to stay here, we'll run towards the mountains with their protectors. When their protectors got killed, they said, we've got two options: hand ourselves in and go through all the things they would take us through, or no, we are not a backward people. And they actually jumped one by one from that mountain. They said, we will not give ourselves up, but we would rather get killed. We have great leaders in our community still. People in Afghanistan. Unfortunately, we don't do much research. I can see a lot of us have no idea what have we done. That's why I said in my speech, I said in order to understand and your question is really good, because a lot of our youths having a low self-esteem or ihsas kamtari, that's why they don't identify ourselves with Hazara, because they believe, who are we? What do we have? Look at us. And a great example was presented before, when they say, are we from Mexico? Are we from South America? Or when they get into crowds, they try to use Arabic dialects. Habib, this, that. So people could say, oh, maybe he's an Arab. I believe they don't know who they are. They haven't gone through the history. When they do understand their history, they will identify truly who they are, and they will be proud of it. And that's my
Thank you very much, Mo, for the comments. Mr. Gherjestani, the name is Mosa Gherjestani. The name Gherjestani is a memory of a person who donated his life for Hazara community. And of course, one of the figures that we should be proud of is Mr. Mosa Gherjestani. I think, as my friend said, that we haven't got anything for being proud of. Mr. Gherjestani can be a person that we can be proud of. Also, many others. Baba Mazari, of course, is a very great example of being proud of. And also Sima Sama, which is alive at the moment, and he is a great international figure. We can be proud of that. Our women, especially the one that you say that we have to encourage our women to be more active in social affairs. Sima Sama is a good example of that. We can get that example, as we said, that we have to bring some example for our people, for our young generation. Actually, just I have one question very briefly, if you can say, what's your first-hand strategy? You said a lot, you talked about a lot of problems, and you said a lot of things, and you said it is a solution. But what's the first-hand strategy that you think that we have to do for these things? That you said that we have problems in education, you have to encourage your people. What you can do? Like, how I can say, what's your plan? If you, very briefly, you can say that, okay, let's just start from this point. What you can say?
Thanks for the question, and thanks for all the encouragement and the recognition you gave me. I wish I had a plan, otherwise we wouldn't be here, but I'll answer your question. I think the solution is, like I said, as I said in my speech, there should, at the moment, we have a lot of community organizations. Some are very active with their local community, some are not. We need to have an integration between all the community organizations to work as one. Because let's say we have a particular part of population, and I will mention it. For example, Qawmi Jawari, Qawmi Besidi, they all go towards their own paths and have their own little community groups, but we're not all as one. And the other thing is, we haven't actually analysed or identified what do we exactly need. How can we fulfill these needs? Because once you identify the issues, I mean, these are the general issues that I'm talking about. Once you really identify, then we have to look at, okay, what obstacles are on the way which are stopping us from achieving it? Or are we actually doing anything about it? Once it becomes clear, then you can work towards this success. And you have to work day in, day out, and everyone has to be involved.
Thank you. Just one more question, last question. Yep. Yep. The person in the front.
Person in the front. Sorry.
Sorry. Thanks.
ببخشید که شما گفتید که ما باید قلب باشیم افتخار کنیم و برابر خود کنیم یک چیزی که همه مردم در باشه افتخار کنیم ولی یک چیز دیگه که بسیار به نظر من جای سوال است که همیشه ما افتخار دیگر در بایستی و تفریحان خود و جامعه خود هستیم این رو موافق کردیم که چقدر خود ما و یا هیچ وقت گفته شده که ما خود ما چقدر مسئول مثلا فکر کنید مثلا با فرض ما در تاریخ داریم که مثلا فرض رو حول کلندر که مسئول مجموع نیستم و پدرهای ما باید میدون یا گفتن که آره مثلا زمان هزارا که جایزی که بیشتر از طرفی کسای دیگر زرده باشه بیشتر از خودی مردمی هزار زرده مثلا در یک جای اگر پشتونا یا کسای دیگر که میامد توجه حمله نکنن خب چرا همسایش خوشحال میشه؟ دلیلش چی بود؟ خوشحال میشد که بگذار ملازمه مقرش کنن نشون خوب در امنیت هست نه؟ ولی نقاط ضعف دارن ما چقدر ضعیف بودیم و بیشتر از اینکه دیگرها با ما ضرر رسانده باشن ما خود ما بیشتر ضرر خود رسانده و این مسائل ما همیشه باید نظر
Thank you. I think it's a really good question, very important. You are correct. As much as we believe and say that we have great leaders in our community, on the other hand, we have current examples in Afghanistan. The reason we actually failed most of the time was because of our internal leadership. And this is fact. Some of our leaders were actually agents of other countries. They did no good to our community. They did no good to the people in Afghanistan because no external threats could have walked into our areas and just did the things which they did. Going back to history in 1880, between 1880 to 1895, the people who actually led Amir Abdul Rahman, most of them were our Hazara people. They got involved with them. And how we could have avoided it, or how should we avoid it in future? I would go back to what I said before. Listen to what a person says. Don't judge them. Look at their character. And use common sense. Again, going back to history, our biggest strength, which is our religion, our mazhab, Shia, Muslim, were used against us. Whoever tried to be the whistleblower and said, you know what, the path that we are going towards is actually not a good idea. They said, oh, this person's communist or this person's kafir, let's kill him. And to my best of ability, I think that was the reason. Going forward, we should be aware of these issues. And hopefully we can prevent and avoid such bad experiences we had previously. Thank you.